Okay. Noreen Kelly in the room or on the platform? Nope. Joey Smallwood. Okay. Seneca Johnson. Okay. Martha Burt. Martha Burt. Oh, terrific. um, Ms. Burt, would you spell your first and last name for the transcript, please? Thank you. And do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Excuse me?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Of course.
Alrighty, I'm going to start your 3 minutes now.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chair, members of the Commission. My name is Martha Burt. I am the co-chair of Indivisible SOS Santa Fe, a group of about 100 women who are very active in public affairs and legislative action. You have heard extensive testimony from experts about the dangers that this rule would pose to the health and safety of all New Mexicans. I am not an expert and I will not pretend to be one. What I want to urge you to do is to reject this rule out of hand. The rule is really no rule at all. It offers no enforceable guidance. It leaves our state vulnerable to untried and reckless experimentation with no effective control over what happens. I have a lot of experience with rulemaking from my 35 years as a policy researcher at the Urban Institute in Washington, D.C. That experience has taught me what a rule should look like. It should not look like this one. This rule leaves the Environment Department with no way to protect public health and safety, with no way to reject an application for anything at all that the oil and gas industry wants to try. It also violates the law. The law in question says that a rule governing produced water needs to have an enforceable scientific basis for making decisions about whether a specific proposed use of fracking waste is safe for the public and the environment. There are no such criteria in this rule. And the reason there are no such criteria in the rule is because those criteria do not exist. Science has been unable to establish such criteria because produced water is so full of such dangerous substances. Testing is expensive. Testing is not yet able to address many of the substances in produced water. And testing itself seems to create even more harmful substances, as you heard from the experts. We can't say anything is safe if we don't know what's in the stuff. The circumstances surrounding this rule further suggest that the Commission reject it and send the department back to the drawing board. I refer to the complete inability of NMED to police existing restraints on the oil and gas industry. As you have also heard from experts, spills happen. They happen on average 4 times a day. Today, they happen within the control environment of the oil field, at least theoretically. If this rule is allowed to go forward, these spills will happen out where they will harm everyone. It is extremely likely that these spills violate the law's restrictions on contaminating existing water supplies. The department is, at a minimum, extremely lax about enforcing these rules. There's nothing in the department's current or past behavior to give anyone any confidence that the proposed rule will be any better enforced. And indeed, the proposed rule sets itself up as needing no enforcement because it allows the industry complete freedom to do its destructive best.
Will you wrap up?
The rule, is that 3 minutes?
Wrap up.
Okay, don't do it.
Oh, you can just wrap up.
Oh. The rule is premature. The rule is an example of a public agency not doing its job. And one suspects that this rule is yet another example of the state of New Mexico allowing the oil and gas industry to run roughshod over the interests of the public.
Okay, thank you very much. Jackie or JC Hood? Jackie or JC Hood? No? Okay. Let me turn then to address Those on, sorry. First, let me ask, is there anyone else in the room who would like to offer comment? I think I recognize everyone else. All right, there's no one else in the room. Let me now address the platform. Is there anyone at all who has not yet offered public comment, either in May or earlier today, who would like to offer public comment at this time? There will be other opportunities every day that we're in hearing.
Public comment, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes, Ms. Adler. Would you
Yes,
would you spell your first and last name for the transcript?
sure. It's Laura, Lara. Last name is Adler, Adler.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll start your 3 minutes now.
Okay. Hold on. My notes just went away. Okay. Thank you for your time. For the past 13 years, I've been teaching medical and health professionals around the world about the effects of toxic chemicals on human health and their links to hundreds of chronic health conditions, cancer, birth defects, autoimmune disease, metabolic disease, infertility, and more. In the years I've been doing this work, I have
Ms.
seen
Adler,
countless
Ms.
instances.
Adler,
Yes.
I know you want to maximize your time, and I will give you a little extra time because I'm speaking at you. But the court reporter is trying to catch all of your words, so you need to slow down a little.
Okay, can do that. In the years I've been doing this work, I have seen countless incidences where industries in pursuit of profit or cost savings have endangered the lives of millions of people by either not considering or outright ignoring the potential and actual downstream consequences of the chemistry they use. This is typically followed by the discovery, years later, of toxic chemicals in our air, soil, water, food, etc. Chemicals that we end up spending decades and billions of taxpayer dollars attempting to address and remediate. Many toxic chemicals, including ones found in produced water, are highly persistent, and once introduced into the environment are all but impossible to remove, like DDT from the 1970s that is still found in soil, food, and therefore people. We are still dealing with the consequences of leaded gasoline 103 years after it was introduced. When we put profits in front of people, this is the pattern that we see over and over again. Produced water contains hundreds of highly toxic chemicals, most of which are unregulated under the Safe Drinking Water Act. For many of these chemicals, there is no safe level of exposure. This means that even the tiniest amount that may intentionally or unintentionally make its way into groundwater sources can be toxic with devastating health consequences. This includes chemicals and metals like arsenic, barium, bromide, mercury, benzene, toluene, ethylbenzene, and xylenes, all highly toxic, as well as PFAS, which are present in produced water. PFAS chemicals are the DDT of our time. Their toxicity is now well established and to date have been linked to high cholesterol, testicular and kidney cancer, liver damage, thyroid disease, decreased vaccine response, asthma, fertility problems, and more. That they are actively being used in New Mexico oil and gas extraction is not only wildly irresponsible, it's also going to be costly to address. We cannot kick the can of PFAS pollution down to our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. The gas and automobile industry knew that tetraethyl lead was toxic the day they added it to gasoline. DuPont, the makers of PFAS, not only knew of the toxicity of their product, but hid this information from the public for decades, which is why we cannot leave it up to the oil and gas industry to define what is appropriate treatment for produced water. And we cannot leave them to police themselves when it comes to proper handling of this highly toxic waste. I'll close by saying that New Mexico water is already under serious threat thanks to the SCOTUS ruling on Sackett versus EPA. Currently, 90% of waterways in New Mexico are no longer considered waters of the United States and are therefore not protected under the Clean Water Act. At a time when protections have been stripped from New Mexico waters, we do not need the gas and oil industry messing around with profoundly toxic wastewater. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Adler. Is there anyone else on the platform who would like to offer public comment at this time? Anyone else at all who hasn't already offered comment? There will be other opportunities. The next one is at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Another one at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Going once? No? Okay. Terrific. We will adjourn then for the day and resume this hearing at 9 o'clock in the morning.